Good evening, sir. Good evening, everybody. Today, we are here to have some knowledge about the examination to be held for the post of members, district president, and this member of state consumer commissions in Maharashtra. There is large vacancy in Maharashtra since last about 2 years. And unfortunately, the advertisement is given, and now the even forms are also accepted. You must have been filled up forms for the post of member, president, or the state commission member. So there is an examination. I don't know whether the examination is going to be held, but within a short period, this examination will be held. And there are two papers, as you know. First paper is of objective nature. The second is descriptive. And in the second paper, there would be a questions on Consumer Act, and you are required to write essay and judgment also. The instruction doesn't show that you are required to write a judgment. They say only that the candidate is required to answer the case study. Case study means the judgment, because you are will be appointed as a judge for the consumer commission. So you are required to write a judgment during entire your career. So case study, in my opinion, they will give you some facts of the case, and you are required to write judgment on those facts. So you basically know what is the structure of a judgment. It is like just judgment, like a civil court judgment or a criminal court judgment. The title clause, the names of the parties, the narration of a complainant, the narration of a opposite party. They called it as a opposite party. The other party, the complainant and the opposite party. So they are required to file the written statement. We called it as a written version. It is same, one and the same. So written version contains the positive theory of the opposite party against the and denial of a consumer complaints, contention of a complaint. So the judgment contains the narration of a complainant story, narration of a defendant story, or the opposite party's theory. Then you are required to form a point for consideration, and then the evidence, then the appreciation of evidence, and ultimately the final order. So the nature of litigation is also required to be seen. In consumer complaint, no evidence is recorded on oath in the court. The complainant is required to file his affidavit of evidence along with the documents, and then the opposite party files his evidence on affidavit and documents on record, and then the commission is required to assess the evidence as well as the document produced by the parties, and then give a verdict. He has to write a reasoning also, and then the final order. So while writing the judgment in the present examination, all facts may not be placed before you. They will give you a brief facts of a complainant's case, and then the defense of a opposite party, and then other facts you are required to be assume or visualize, and then write the judgment. This is the regular practice of even examination of civil judge, senior division, or even a district judge also. So the format may be same, but that judgment will create some impression upon the examiner. So you are required to write a good judgment, or judgment which will reflect the knowledge of your Consumer Act. So basically, the consumer complaints are filed for two purposes. Three purposes. One is for deficiency in service, defect in goods, and unfair trade practice played by the opposite party. So the verdict, if you are allowing the complaint, then you must have positive finding on the fact that the opposite party has committed deficiency in service, or the goods he sold were defective, or if there is allegation of unfair trade practice, then you must held that way. He is guilty for the unfair trade practice, and then you can go for compensation, because here we grant compensation, the value of a goods, value of a service, or inconvenience caused to the complainant, and then the compensation for mental and physical harassment or trauma, and then cost of the litigation, and sometimes the value of a goods if it is not delivered, or if suppose it is an insurance claim, then you'll have to pay the insurance company to pay the amount of policy plus interest thereon, and then cost, compensation and cost. So all facts are the operative part is required all these facts. He first is you will have to held him guilty if it is proved that he is guilty for in deficient service or uh, unfair trade practice, and then award the reliefs prayed by the complainant. So those your prayer may not be given to you in the question paper. They will give some brief facts of a complaint case, that suppose it is a insurance claim, then they will say that the complainant was in need of health insurance. He approached the XYZ insurance company, and then he filled up a form, and after the filling of the form, it was considered by the insurance company and granted, issued the insurance policy by accepting premium yearly, half yearly, or quarterly, whatever is that. And then and thereafter, after some period, the complainant developed some ailment and he undergone some operation or treatment in particular hospital, and then he filed a claim form for refund or reimbursement of the treatment. Then suppose the defense is that the complainant has concealed some material facts, therefore the claim was repudiated. So you'll have to judge what is the deficiency in service, what fact was concealed, whether it was material, whether it was known to the complainant prior to the filling of the form, because that is very required. And there is one very landmark judgment that you can, if you go for a site, you'll get a number of judgment on these. But the latest judgment I'll cite the judgment of Manmohan Nanda versus United Assurance Company Limited, wherein Justice Nagaratna and present Chief Justice was the bench there, and the judgment has explained what is fact, material fact, what is concealment. The concealment must be at the time of filling the form for the purchasing insurance policy. If that fact was known to the insured, that he was suffering from XYZ disease, and if it is not disclosed to the insurance company, then insurance company would be in a position to repudiate the claim, and their action would be cannot be called as a deficiency in service. So that material is to you have to appreciate all these things by considering the some facts may be there, but you'll have to visualize certain things and then write the judgment. So it is as far as the part of the insurance claim is concerned. If it is suppose it is for a complaint for non-providing the flat by the builder, the facts would be very simple. The person, the complainant was in need of accommodation in Bombay or Thane or any part of Maharashtra, and he got the information, or he came across the advertisement of opposite party regarding his project. Then he approached the builder. He paid some initial amount for booking amount for flat, and thereafter, as per the demand, he pays XYZ amount, or almost he pays around 90%, 80% of the amount, but the builder failed to hand over the possession to the consumer for XYZ reason, whatever reason he may come with the defense, and then if complainant files his complaint, then you have to consider this: what is the amount he paid, whether there was an agreement, whether he has executed agreement or not. If he has not executed agreement, then that is a deficiency or the breach of MOPA provisions of MOPA Act. as per the MOPA Act 4, 5, 6, 7, if the builder accepts substantial amount of consideration more than 20%, then he has to execute the agreement of book flat in favor of the consumer. Then whatever the contents in the agreement, if it is agreed by the builder to hand over possession within particular period, within 2 years, within 3 years, and then whether it is not granted, then the prayers would be very important. Those may not be provided to you. In the complaint of a housing complaints, the complaint always claim the possession of a flat. If building is not constructed at all, then the suitable premises of a same area, of a same size and same area, rather vicinity, the builder can be directed to that effect. He can be provided, complaint can be provided another substitute flat of the same size in same area without any charging any amount. Then the delayed interest on delayed delivery of possession of a flat, then compensation, and sometimes the uh, claimant also claims exorbitant compensation because if he has booked the flat in the year 2010 and he is not provided flat till 20, so last 10 years the prices of the flats are increased. So sometimes he demands refund of his money and the compensation as per the price prevailing in the said area. So we'll have to consider, appreciate all these things because those may not be provided. So whatever you visualize, what is defense is given, you can consider that and you can write the judgment. But on these 2, 3 grounds, there are many other also. If there is a person has purchased a flat, car or any uh, household article, and there was some defect, and the defect is not cured by the service center or the authorized agent, then and that line also will have to write this. The basic thing you will have to decide if the complaint is, if you feel that there is a evidence to the effect that the complainant has proved his case, then you will have to answer two things. One is that he is deficient in service, or he is he played unfair trade practice with the consumer, and that funding is required. Unless that is required, you cannot grant a compensation or relief to the complainant. So those are required. So if you see the structure of a judgment, it is first is title. If it is complaint is, then you have to revert back to the uh, the jurisdiction of pecuniary jurisdiction of a consumer court. There are three consumer forums, rather commissions. One is district commission, state commission, and the national commission. So if the pecuniary goods are, or the property is valued up to 50 lakhs, the complaint is required to be filed before the district commission. If it is beyond 50 lakhs and up to 2 lakhs, the complaint will be filed before the state commission. And if it is beyond 2 crores, up to 10, up beyond 10 crores, then it will be before the national commission. So that angle will have to also take into consideration where to file complaint, title of the complaint. If the flat is more than 50 lakhs, the complaint would be filed in the state commission. If it is beyond 2 crores, it will go to national commission. So all these facts will have to assume, consider, visualize, and then form the title of a judgment. Then the regular number of a complaint, and then the part name also names the parties. You don't write the name XYZ or say ABC like that. And then the starting point, how to start with the judgment. The complaint and is always under, if it is before the uh, district commission is under 12 of the Consumer Forum Act, then we'll have to write that your complaint is filed for insurance claim or for the refund of booking amount or the possession of a flat and cost and compensation against this, and then narrate the facts given in the question paper, or visualize some more facts. If, as you know, for taking insurance policy or for taking a flat, purchasing a flat, what sort of a things are required. Person who is in advanced rather age to secure his health, he purchase the insurance policy. Then for residing the having a complete habit, um, having a place of residence, he purchase a flat. So we can add 2 3 lines to that effect, but don't make it more because you don't get the time, because it is also we'll have to manage the everything in 2 hours, 3 hours. The paper is of the second paper is of a descriptive nature, maybe having 8 or 9 questions. Out of that, 2 questions would be maybe compulsory. One is judgment writing and one is essay writing, and you cannot skip that. So you'll have to manage your schedule accordingly. If you write lengthy judgment, you may not get chance to complete the entire paper, because by that time you may not be having that practice to write at least 20 25 pages in 3 hours. So you'll have to maintain your handwriting properly, then complete the paper entirely with judgment and the essay, because both the things are required some imagination. So you cannot write in a speed. So just read the judgments which are uploaded in the consumer site. We call it as a component. The component you will get a many judgment. All are always uploaded within a couple of weeks or so. So you'll get a judgment from the National Commission, State Commission, even from the District Commission. Go through those judgment. You'll have to just have a keep in mind the structure of a judgment, because even if something goes wrong, doesn't matter, but you will get some marks for the structure of a judgment. Title clause, then party's name, then the narration of a complainant story, narration of a defendant story, and then the point for determination. The point for determination, this is required, whether because most of the time the opposite party challenges the status of a complainant as a consumer. So they try to deny the status of a complainant as a consumer. So we'll have to frame a issue to that effect, whether complainant is consumer, whether the, the he has booked the flat for his own purpose. It is not commercial purpose. That second part would be there. If it is a uh, flat is booked, whether it is for his own use and occupation, or whether it is uh, for the earning profit. So that stage also is taken. Such defense is always taken by the builder. He was an investor. He was not a flat regular flat purchaser or buyer, genuine buyer. So that finding is also is required to be uh, given by you on the basis of facts on record. Because if investor is there, he will deposit the amount at one instance. He may not deposit instant as per the demand of the complainant, and he may not execute the agreement for sale. So there are number of other things on the basis of which you can say he was a genuine buyer, he was not an investor. Then the delay in handing over possession. So all these facts are required to be written in the judgment, and then you come to conclusion whether complainant had booked the flat for his own purpose, and then he paid the amount, and in spite of the entire payment or substantial payment, the payment was not done. And even in the operative order, if suppose the flat is booked for consideration of 1 crore and complainant has paid around 80 lakhs, then you can say by depositing another remaining balance amount of consideration, possession be handed over to the complainant within period of 2 months, 3 months, whatever you say that way. If entire amount is paid, then you need not write this. But these are the things which are required to be taken into account, because they will say the complainant has paid 80% of amount, 75% of amount, and flat was not given. Then you will, while passing the order, you must write that way. The defendant is directed to hand over possession of a flat by accepting remaining amount of consideration from the complainant. And complainant can be also directed to pay the amount, remaining balance amount to the complainant or to the opposite party, and get the flat possession of a flat within period of XYZ, or 1 year, 3 months, 2 months, 6 months, 10 months, whatever you feel, you can write that way, because there is no limit to that. But it should be period should be less than a year or 3 months or 6 months, whatever that. If project is not completed, you can extend it for a couple of months or not more than that. If the project is not even started, then you can, I said earlier said, you can give a alternate option to the complainant to have a flat in the same area with same size, or get the entire amount back with interest. And if you feel, suppose there is a case of a complainant that he is required to have a flat at a current rate, or a refund of amount as per the current rate prevailing in that area, whether you can, such type of relief was also granted to the complainants. So this is in respect of insurance and the flat purchaser is concerned. There are many other complaint for division engine service, namely the home appliances. It may be TV, it may be washing machine, it may be AC or vehicle. If it is proved that the goods were defective and it was not repaired within time, or even if it is repaired but it was frequently not working properly, then you can direct the manufacturer. But if you want to ask the direct the manufacturer to refund the amount, then you will have to write the judgment. You have to write, observe that the article was having a manufacturing defect. If it is simpliciter service was not provided, then you can direct the service provider or the agent or workshop. Many manufacturers are having service centers. If it's a car, they have got a service center. So you can direct the service centers to repair the car and give it back to the complainant. But positive finding is required that there was a deficiency in service, goods were defective, and if there is an unfair trade practice played by the opposite party, then you'll have to observe that, and then you can pass the final order. This is just required. As far as second part is essay is concerned, it can be essay can be of any, but it may be regarding consumer movement. There are many issues. So I have got some subject, some items rather, or consumer movement in India. It can be, they can be asked, discuss the consumer movement in India, then empowering the consumers, then strengthening the consumer rights, a new era for consumer protection by examination of implication of consumer protection, new Consumer Protection Act, then guiding consumer interest, then enhancing consumer welfare with the help of new Consumer Act, then transforming consumer laws. Then because we have got a two Consumer Act. Earlier it was 1986 Act, and now it is 1920 2019 Act. So then we'll have to, if that comes, then we'll have to show the improvement or change in the earlier law. What is the beneficial provisions in the new Act, which were not there in the earlier Act? We'll have to have a critical analysis of both the acts, and then we'll have to write that. If there is transforming consumer laws in India with the help of the two acts, then adopting a changing consumer dynamics. That all these subjects are, I have taken it from the Google, so we get the essays on these, or the some writers have written on these. So we'll get this, and you can read this, and you can pass, you can write the judgment. But this subject, you are appearing for examination for consumer forums or consumer commissions position. So the one subject would be on this, definitely on a Consumer Act. Whatever may be the name of the nomenclature may be different, but it may be relating to the welfare of the consumer and the provision to that effect made in the earlier Act or the new Act. So we'll have to discuss those characteristics of an Act and the beneficial provisions of the Consumer Act. Maybe rights and liabilities of consumer, that those are crystallized in the Act. So we'll have to write some essay, some good part of this beneficial part of rights and the liabilities of consumer. Those are made applicable in the Act. So then there are consumer commissions. The, the then authorities are created, state authorities created, central authorities created. So what are the beneficial provisions of the Act? We'll have to read that and then you can write judgment on that. Similarly, we'll have to consider the safeguards provided in the Consumer Act for the beneficial benefits of the consumer. That also you will have to consider. The Act is earlier Act was very small. Now new Act is very vast. So the after section 47, 50, we will get a provisions of new Act which are beneficial to the interests of the consumer. All many stakeholders are included. State is included, then central government is included, then the consumer authorities, those are working in the consumer field, they are also made a party to the state consumer authority and central consumer authority. So what are the effect of that? You can write essay on that part. So just go through those provisions and then we'll get the idea. But one subject would be definitely the subject of the essay would be consumer and the interests of a consumer, benefits of consumer, beneficial interests of consumer, what provisions are made in the Act to give more powers to the consumer and to stay in the arena. That's will have to require. Then there would be a question on the Consumer Act because these two questions are definitely there. One is essay and case study. Case study maybe I already said it's a judgment or to write a judgment. Or if there is no specific direction that you should write judgment, then they may ask, they give you some facts of the case and then ask some questions to that, and then you have to write the answer. But I don't feel that they will do that. They will ask you to write a judgment and essay. And beside that, there would be at least 6 questions to write. There may be short notes, maybe a long questions for 10 marks. There may be a short notes for some points. What is the jurisdiction of district commission? What is the jurisdiction of a national commission? Who is complainant? Who is consumer? Because Consumer Act defines complainant also as well as consumer also. The first complainant is consumer, and then the association of consumer, then state government, then central government, then the heirs of deceased person, then the guardian of minor person, because minor can be a consumer also. According to me, a person who is not born and person who is also dead can be a consumer. If he's not born and something happens, then his parents can file a complaint. If person who died, on his behalf, his heirs can file a complaint against the medical treatment for which by which he has passed away. So the person who is not born and person who is dead, in between everybody is a consumer. So the complainant is explained. 7 categories are given of a complainant. First is consumer, and then consumer is also person who buys the goods or services for consideration is treated as a consumer, but he buys in goods and services for his own use or self-employment. He is complainant, and then there is a clause for a commercial purpose. Goods purchased for commercial purpose. The landmark judgment on that is Lakshmi Engineering Works, wherein what is commercial purpose and what is a self-employment is described. So you can take a aid of that, and then within which period complaint should be filed. The small question can be also asked you. What is the limitation prescribed for filing complaint? It is 1 year. It is 2 years. Then what steps should be taken by the district commission after filing of the complaint. The complaint, after the filing of the complaint, it must be considered within 21 days. Otherwise, it is deemed that complaint is admitted. Before admission, the commission has to see many things. Section 32 is there. You can see the 32. There are number of steps to be taken by the commission. So that can be one of the question can be of that. What steps are required to be taken up after filing of the complaint? So those are there. If there is some technical evidence is required, then the sample or things are required to be sent to the laboratory, and commission has to take an opinion of that and then proceed with the complaint. So you can see that such type of question can be asked to when asked to write the question on that. Then basic is the filing of written version. The basically it should be filed within 30 days. And if it is not possible, then the opposite party can seek the extension of that 30 days up for another 15 days. So total period is 45 days. And the landmark judgment on that is Hilly multi-purpose cold storage case, wherein the constitutional bench has of Supreme Court has held that the commission, maybe a state commission, district commission, state commission, even national commission has no power to extend the period of 45 days to file a written version. If the opposite party has failed to file complaint written version within 45 days from date of service of notice, of course that service must be along with the compilation of complaint. Complaint and the annexure to the complaint must be served upon the opposite party, and if it is served, then it is his duty to file the written version within 45 days, within 30 days, and he can extend it for 15 days. The commission has power to extend it for 45 days. But at no stage of examination, it cannot be extend beyond 45 days, because there is a mandate from the Supreme Court, and there are a number of judgments also, subsequent judgments also. The latest judgment is Diamond Export case, and earlier that Daddy Builders case. The three cases are in a consecutive. First is Hilly multi-purpose, second is Daddy Builders case, and then Diamond Export case. All are the first and second, third is of Supreme Court, and second is of National Commission. So this aspect also you can consider while writing the judgments also. If the plea is taken that WS is not filed within 45 days, whether in 10 days, question can be asked to that effect, or short question may be also there. What is the provision regarding filing of complaint, limitation, then the limitation regarding filing of WS? This 1, 2, 3 can be asked in that way. So you require to read minute provisions of the Consumer Act. One more fact I insist to read is that the complaint against unfair trade practice, simply alleging unfair trade practice, the complaint can be filed before the state commission, irrespective of the pecuniary jurisdiction. Section 34 says that way. 34(2) says that way. The complaint alleging the unfair trade practice only, the jurisdiction of a state commission is up to 2 crores. So rupees 1 to 2 crore you can file a complaint before the state commission instead of going back to district commission. Simpliciter allegation of unfair trade practice, complaint can be filed before the district commission. Coupled with deficiency in service, you can file in the district commission. But simpliciter complaint for unfair trade practice, you'll have to come to the state commission if the price or the allegation of is up to 2 crores. If it's beyond 2 crores, you can go to the national commission. You have to read that, because this is a tricky question. They can ask you whether a complaint of unfair trade practice can be filed before the state commission instead of district commission. So the answer is that. With 34, you can read 34. You can read 47 also. 34 is of district commission. 47 is of state commission, and 57 or 58 is of national commission. A specific provision in the district and the state commission and the national commission regarding entertainment of complaint alleging the unfair trade practice of a value from rupee 1 to up to 2 crores or beyond 2 crores. So you can see that way. And minute study will help you in writing the judgment, because it's a competitive examination. Some questions will be tricky, maybe puzzling one, but if you have got a thorough reading of text, because the second paper would be very important. First paper, there is no syllabus. It can be general knowledge. It is maybe consist of general knowledge, then current affairs, then some testing knowledge of English, or general questions are that can be. You cannot have a format for that paper. You have to have a discrete reading of a current position, the general knowledge, and other things. But the second paper, the question would be on Consumer Act only, and it is of a 100 marks paper. So this this judgment writing and essay writing may be of 15 marks, 15 marks, maybe the judgment may be of 20 marks, or essay may be of 12 or 15 marks, and then the rest of the marks will be for questions on the Consumer Act. So some questions would be descriptive, one or two questions would be descriptive, others would be of short note or short, maybe, and you are required to answer 3 or 4 ABC questions. One question divided into 3 parts. Just I said, you complain, where to file, what is jurisdiction of a district commission, state commission, and the national commission, what is the limitation for filing a written version. Those, it can be club one question. Such a question can be asked, and you have to ask if you have read the provisions of the act properly, you can answer it. There is no problem. Only you have to keep in mind that you will complete the paper within 3 hours, for which you are required to write very fast, with the speed, with good handwriting, which can be read to others, and complete the question. And these 2 questions, one of the question of either judgment or essay, you are required to write either in English or Marathi. It is a compulsory. If you write judgment, you can write both Marathi and English, but I think essay or judgment is required to be written in either in English or in Marathi, or they will put you write either of the answer in Marathi, because the language of district commission is Marathi. So it is better that you can write essay in Marathi and judgment in English. Either way, if you are easy with, you are comfortable with both, you can write even judgment in Marathi also. There is no problem. But then they will ask you to write essay in English. So they will try your both the things, because they are taking examination for all 3 posts: member, then president of district commission, and state commission, member of state commission. There is no separate examination. So person who will score more may be shifted to first category, that is member of a state commission, and then the president, and then the member. So they are required to test your language, both the language, English as well as Marathi. So they may force you to write one of the question in Marathi or one of the question in English. That would be mandate. And these these questions are required to be answered. You cannot leave. You cannot have an option to for these two question. The case study and the essay, both will be compulsory questions, and you have to write in either of the language. So keep in mind, read for essay, you'll have to have a reading for that. I will give the list to the office bearers here. They will circulate you, and these are available. These essay topics are available on Google or any other social media. You can check it out, or even the consumer site also. These are available. So if you go through it, that it is easy to write, because you'll have to write at least 15 to 20 lines, 200 words, or 20 lines, 10 words in a line, so around 20 lines. And judgment, you can write anything, because as soon as you try to be a very brief in the sense, brief but not cryptic. So what is required is required to be written. Otherwise, you can't get any mark. So the narration, I'll repeat again. the narration of complaint, theory of complainant, narration of theory of defense of a opposite party, then your reasoning, point for determination, then reasoning, and then final order. It is a complete format of a judgment that you know because you are a practicing lawyer. So you must have read many judgment of similar criminal nature of a similar type. Only thing is that you have to have a brief thing because it's a summary procedure. Complaint is summary procedure. They will ask small question also where there is a limitation. There is a limitation. The district commission, the complaints are always required to be decided within 90 days from filing of the written version. So 90 days is a limit. So if it is to be decided within 90 days, then the format should be summary in nature. So you should be very abridged, very brief in every aspect, narrating the facts of the case as well as the reasoning also, and even on the operative part also. But operative part you can visualize many things. As I have said, what is the prayer of a complainant? As far as the if there is a if question is asked on a housing complaint, then there are many options. The possession, then delayed interest on delayed payment, delayed delivery of flat, then compensation, then extra compensation like rent and other things. Sometimes persons reside in private accommodation after the uh, booking of the flat, then they claim the rate of interest, rent from the builder. So all these are, if they're there in the facts, then you have to write them. Otherwise, don't imagine much. Whatever there, you can imagine and you can write there. But these two questions will offer very important for your uh, scoring the marks. And the other 6 questions are there. So you can write the judgment properly, write the essay with some idea, because judgment essay would be of welfare of a consumer. Mostly on that. One would be there. There would be 3 or 4 options, maybe 3 options. One of them would be of a consumer. So you can, if you prepare that way by reading the articles on the site, you get the idea to write the essay. I think my dose is complete. If any queries are there, I'll ask. Feel free to ask you queries. I think my help is here. He'll give me input of questions, and then I'll answer it. Yes. Yes. There are many questions here. I said essay around 200 words. So it always more than 20 lines. 20 lines means 1 page. But if you think and write the essay, it will take at least half an hour. And if you visualize the facts of a case and write a judgment, it will take at least 45 minutes. So calculate that period, half an hour and 45 minutes. It is almost 1 hour and 25 minutes or 115 minutes. So whatever period will remain, you have to answer 70 marks paper. So have a timetable fix. Don't go for lengthy judgment or lengthy essay. Concentrate on this also, because you'll have to have a 30 marks paper. You'll have to answer it. So
Sir,
manage the time. Manage the time.
Sir, one more question is there. Consumer Commission procedure is summary in nature. So is
Yes.
it required to frame issues in the judgment
Yes.
writing?
Yes. The points are required to be considered frame. Yes, because those are specifically raised in the pleading by the opposite party. If person is not consumer, he has no cause of action, then he has purchased flat for his investment, other thing. There are defenses are taken, and then you have to answer that. Maybe within a short manner, but it is better that you frame a point for determination. Issues, we don't frame issues. We frame a point for determination at a time of writing judgment, 1, 2, 3, and then the relief claim. Just like we frame the issues in the civil suit, those are required to be written in the judgment. point for consideration, point for determination, point for consideration, whatever it is. But that those are required. It's a format. Yes, even in National Commission also points are always framed if there is a complaint on that.
And one last question, though not related to today's topic, but it is related to Consumer Act. If a consumer filed case in RERA and he is not satisfied with decision of RERA, can he file complaint in Consumer Forum?
Yes, he can file complaint because Section 3 of the Act is very clear. It is an exclusive jurisdiction. So even if he has filed criminal complaint against the builder, he can file it here in the Consumer Court. Even if he has filed civil suit against the builder for recovery, he can file it here. Or even if he has got some other remedies available, he can come to Consumer Court. Section 3 is very clear. It is additional facility or the provision is given to the Consumer Court. The consumer has given an option to choose. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Before
Yeah.
proceeding to concluding session, Dr. Advocate Uday Varjekar, sir, want to have sir conversation.
Yes, welcome.
Over to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Welcome, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for your wonderful guidance. I'm
Yes.
sure all these participants who have joined for this session,
Yes.
they are benefited.
Yes.
Apart from that, those who will visit the YouTube video, which will be
Yes.
uploaded, they will also get benefit.
Yes.
Before I request coordinator to propose vote of thanks,
Yes.
I must say, sir, we are really honored because you came on the platform of a Bar Council of Maharashtra and Goa. We
Yes.
are really feeling obliged,
Yes.
and we are sure very soon we will get a good honorable members of the State Commission as well as the President and the members of the District Commission.
The commission, yes.
Everybody is aware this is comparatively a different area where they are going to work.
Wow.
And therefore, the guidance which is provided by the Bar Council of Maharashtra and Goa for last almost 12 or 13 days, which is a continuing process, that is going to help them a lot.
Yes.
2-3 मुलांचे छोटे छोटे प्रश्न होते की सॅम्पल पेपर मिळेल का सर आपणच कदाचित सांगा सॅम्पल पेपर कुठे असू शकेल याचा
काही प्रश्न कार्तिक आता बोलता म्हणालो ना काही प्रश्न मी तर सांगितले ना की बरेचसे प्रश्न त्या प्रोव्हिजन वरच येणार आहेत की किंवा प्रोसिजर फॉर फायलिंग कंप्लेंट तो मग सेक्शन 32 सगळाच येईल त्याच्यामध्ये कंप्लेंट म्हणजे काय कशी फाईल करायला लागेल काय लागेल त्याच्यामध्ये काय कंटेंट्स असतील कसं असेल त्याच्यानंतर लिमिटेशनचा प्रश्न येईल त्याच्यानंतर डिफेन्स प्रॉबेबल डिफेन्सेस काय आहेत हे त्याच्यावर प्रश्न येऊ शकतो की याच्यामध्ये डिफेन्स काय आहे काय इन्शुरन्स मध्ये डिफेन्स काय आहे किंवा कंझ्युमर जे आर्टिकल्स आहेत त्याच्यामध्ये काय डिफेन्स आहे काय वगैरे ते डिफेन्स येऊ शकतात त्याच्यावरही प्रश्न येऊ शकतो किंवा शॉर्ट नोट मध्ये राईट्स ऑफ अ कंझ्युमर लायबिलिटीज ऑफ अ कंझ्युमर दी ड्युटीज ऑफ एक आपला राहिला याच्यामध्ये म्हणजे दी क्वेश्चन ऑन ऍडव्हर्टिजमेंट what is the provision in the act to prevent false and bogus advertisement on a public media or a social site त्याच्यावर प्रोव्हिजन आहे आपल्याकडे की the authority can make a complaint to the government to and ask the company to withdraw the advertisement which is objectionable त्यात ती प्रोव्हिजन आहे याच्यामध्ये ह्या जर आपला प्रश्न वाचतो त्याच्यामध्ये याच्यात एक प्रॉब्लेम प्रश्न आहे एक ऍडव्हर्टाइजमेंटवर प्रश्न येऊ शकतो त्याच्यानंतर लिमिटेशनवर एक प्रश्न येऊ शकतो त्याच्यानंतर बसतो आपण विल ड्राफ्ट ऍटलीस्ट
व्हेरी वेल
प्रश्न
सर आपण शेवटचा हा जो प्रश्न आम्ही नॉर्मली विचारतो की मुलांना व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट म्हणून आपण थोडक्यात इंडिकेशन दिलेलं आहे की या प्रश्नांच्या वरती या सेक्शन्स वरती प्रश्न येण्याची शक्यता आहे आय एम शुअर सगळ्यांनी नोंद घेतलेली असणार आहे तरी देखील मला असं वाटतं की आपण जी डिमांड आहे त्याप्रमाणे एखादा सॅम्पल पेपर देखील सर आपण जरा थोडंसं मार्गदर्शन केलं तर आपण सॅम्पल पेपर यांना जरा एक आपण डमी पेपर
करून घ्यायला लागेल तो तसं त्याची उत्तर द्यायला लागतील इट शुड बी सॉल्व्ड विदिन 3 hours आणि देन वी कॅन इव्हन एक्झामिन दॅट अँड वी कॅन गाईड देम इट इज अ हर्क्युलियन टास्क but we can do it. We earlier used to do it, but when we get a longer period, it is possible. Now we don't know when the examination will be held. It may be on the next Sunday also. We don't know. So the period is very short with our disposal. पण जेव्हा आपले असलं तर आपण जेएमएससीच्या पेपरमध्ये आपण पेपर सेट करून परीक्षा घेऊन पेपर तपासून त्यांचे इंटरव्ह्यू पण घेत होतो. इतका प्रोसेस आपण केलाय. त्यामुळे दिस इज पॉसिबल. दिस इज नथिंग difficult. But the only thing is time constraint is there that we can manage. If it is managed, then we can do it that way. We can circulate it on a paper on the site and ask them to sit across the table, and we can ask them की तुम्ही स्वतःच पेपर लिहा, स्वतःच मॉडरेटर हे व्हा काय येतात ना एक्झामिनर येतात तसंच करा and then you can see it. You can read yourself, then you will understand. That we can do it. Good idea. We can frame it.
सर ही जी सगळे जे कोऑर्डिनेटर आहेत की ज्यांनी आपलं हे सगळं सूत्रसंचालन केलेलं आहे, या कोऑर्डिनेटरच्या सपोर्ट वरती आम्ही बऱ्याचशा योजना करत असतो. त्याच्यामुळं त्यांच्या मदतीनं हा कदाचित आपण जो सॅम्पल पेपर तयार करायचं म्हणतोय तो कदाचित त्यांच्या मदतीनं आपण तपासून घेऊ शकू, असंही शक्य होऊ शकतं. पण आपण मार्गदर्शन करताय त्याप्रमाणे आम्ही नक्की हाही विषय लोकांपर्यंत घेऊन जातो.
Yes,
I think now it's a time to go back to the coordinator so that the vote of thanks can be proposed. We are really grateful, sir.
We have got 2 days. We have got 2 days, tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Saturday, Sunday sutti hai. We can take a little effort for our colleagues, our younger brothers, and we can sort out some at least tentative questions. Very important at least, not very important questions. They can decide which is important, which is not important.
You are right. We will do it, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, we are very grateful for your cooperation. Thank you very much, sir. It is really very informative and knowledgeable session today. Thank you very much for being with us. On behalf of Bar Council of Maharashtra and Goa, I extend my sincere thanks. आणि चॅट मधून तर असं दिसतंय सर की पार्टिसिपेंट्स तुमचं आणखीन एक सेशन एक्सपेक्ट करताय.
That I wanted to say की हा फक्त ह्या परीक्षेपुरताच हा होता, पण एक कंझ्युमर ऍक्ट वर एक लागेल, wherein we can point out the very minute and very tricky question can be asked. Some provisions are there, they are very tricky. पण त्यातला डाऊट क्लिअर करण्यासाठी आपण एक सेशन घेऊ याच्यामध्ये ओनली फॉर दी प्रोव्हिजन्स ऑफ कंझ्युमर ऍक्ट, so that people can get, the student can get some idea and they can write paper better way. Yes,
we are very much grateful, sir. Thank you so much. Participants, उद्या सुद्धा आपल्याला एक महत्त्वाच्या विषयावरती असं सेशन असणार आहे, तेव्हा 6 वाजता उद्या आपण पुन्हा एकदा जॉईन होऊया. थँक्यू सो मच.
Thank you.
To conclude the meeting.
Thank you.